What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Tall Benfica podcast. My name is Alfredo. I'm here with Steve Santos. What's going on, Steve?
Yeah, another night, another crappy internet. Was that Huck? Was it cutting out?
Yeah.
Dude, just cut it. Go without me. It's bullshit.
No, just turn off your camera, dude, and keep the audio. And Cristiano Oliveira, if he could get his breath back.
Palhaçada.
What a joke.
Oh, Steve, tens uma sorte de estar aqui, meu.
Anyway, on tonight's podcast, I know that there's some people waiting for us, and if you were watching this live,
There's already 23 on.
The 23, all right. On tonight's podcast, we will look back at the Penafiel game. We'll also look at some of the moves, some of the roster moves, not so much the A team, but the B team's been making some moves. And we will look ahead to Guimarães, which comes up this Saturday at Estádio da Luz, a very crucial game for Benfica. So, without further ado, I already asked you guys how you were doing. Doing better now?
Yeah, a little bit better now.
Anyway, I'll give you the lineup for the Penafiel game. Benfica traveled up north to play Penafiel in a very small pitch, I should say. Júlio César was in goal. Maxi, Lisandro, Jardel, Almeida across the back, Cristante, and Talisca in the middle. John, Gaetan on the wings, and Jonas supporting Lima. Steve, real quick. I know that Cesar had been the choice for JJ in the past games. Now we finally see Lisandro. You think it's going to be a rotating system with Cesar and Lisandro, or you think Lisandro is here to stay for good? Steve?
Well, I definitely agree with Steve's point.
There he is.
I don't know. From what we've seen so far, it doesn't look like JJ has a lot of confidence in the guy. I think he could drop him tomorrow and we wouldn't really know the difference.
What, Lisandro or Cesar?
Lisandro.
Oh. It's possible. What do you think? I mean, Cristiano, I know that you like the guy.
No, I like the guy. I love the way he plays the ball out the back. He has beautiful control of the ball. But for some reason, it seems that JJ right now at the moment likes Cesar a little bit more. I don't know what reason that is, but he's been able to play the guy. He's been giving him a lot more playing time than Lisandro of late. But he got him in the game this weekend. He played well. I mean, I think the kid's gonna be a very good defender going forward. But don't know what's going on with him and JJ.
All right, let's. The other thing with the lineup was Cristante instead of Samaris. I'm not really sure. I didn't have time to look to see if Samaris was hurt or if he was. I don't think he was suspended, and I don't know if he was hurt. But I was surprised to see Cristante in a defensive midfield position. Steve, do you think it was because it was against Penafiel, a much weaker team, perhaps a smaller field where the ball needs to be sent further away, the game needs to be switched, and it's something that Cristante does a lot better than Samaris? I don't know. What do you think?
I think it was Samaris was down to muscle fatigue again, was it not, or was it suspended? Now I really don't remember.
I don't think he was suspended, but I'm not really sure.
One way or the other, I think JJ at this point is really looking at his center midfield and trying to put pieces together.
Damn. Real shame.
Players that watch the game, if you watch the game, you'll see Jesus constantly adjusting each player's positions. One guy's a little bit too far forward, one a little bit too far back, and it's something you have to expect from guys that are 19 and 20 years old. What I found interesting, if you listened to or read or watched Jesus' interview with Abola, he states that he believes Samaris is an innate, that in his system Samaris will play very little at 8. He doesn't count on him at the number 8. He even puts João Teixeira as a more possible replacement for Enzo than Samaris is. So
yeah, I don't
based
know.
on what am I supposed to the same way?
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting that JJ actually said that, and you just said it. I think you were cutting out a little bit, but he did say that he felt that both Talisca, Pizzi, and Cristante were probably better eights than Samaris. Christian, what do you think, man?
Hey, Samaris has looked shaky for the first part of the season. I know of late he's actually picked up his game, and all three of us here actually give him credit for that. But this guy at times has showed you that he can't do much with the ball at his feet, and I think Jorge Jesus might actually see the same thing we see, and that's why he doesn't think he's a viable option at the 8 position. And I think ultimately he's going to play Talisca at the 8 position because it affords him the luxury of putting in Jonas at forward with a natural striker and a guy like Lima or Derlei when he finally gets to play. So I think everyone's happy and he gets to play his guys, but there's something there with Samaris that's not clicking at that 8 position. I think we've all criticized him at one point or another so far when the guy came out playing with the ball in his feet.
But he has shown some improvement to his defense.
Absolutely.
And the improvement has come as of late. I mean, we've even noticed changes in games where he's come in. And before it was like he was getting substituted at halftime. Enzo was being dropped, so on and so forth. But now he seems to be a guy that's becoming a guy that's influential in Benfica's game. And I'm just surprised that Cristante got the start for this game. Not that I don't think that Cristante isn't capable of handling the job. I just think that I don't know. I wonder what's going on.
I wasn't surprised at all.
Maybe muscle fatigue.
That's the thing. If Samaris was on the bench, then you could say, all right, it was a technical decision.
He wasn't on the bench?
But he wasn't even on the bench.
Okay.
He didn't even make the roster.
Right.
So to me, it was either muscle fatigue, something, or like Steve said, maybe it's just a suspension that we just all missed. And if you guys are at home watching and listening, hit us up on Twitter, Benfica Podcast, Steve Santos 6, 10CO10, and let us know if that was indeed the case, because right now none of us are sure. But to me, I thought he was hurt, and therefore he had no other choice but to play Cristante at the 6th position because he had nobody else on the bench.
Yeah, I don't think he was suspended. We would have heard if he was suspended for sure.
Yeah, we all because we all know about Moxie being suspended this weekend. So yeah, I don't think that would have flew under the radar pretty much.
Yeah, but the muscle fatigue I can understand. Maybe he was just running around eating all kinds of goodies during Christmas. Who knows?
Gyros.
Festive gyros with M&Ms. Who knows? But speaking about Talisca finally got back on a scoreboard, which was a good thing to see. Had been 4 or 5 games without scoring.
It's been like 2 months. It's been 2 months. If the guy didn't score that goal, I think I would have flown to Portugal myself and done what Steve's been trying to do for the last couple months, which is get rid of the guy, get the guy out of Portugal. But luckily, he was able to tap it in. That was a beautiful, unselfish individual play from Lima.
Yeah.
I got to be honest, if that was me, I would have shot it on goal.
Yeah, but you got the great ball from Gaitan.
Mm-hmm.
You got a great settle by Lehman to have the presence of mind to cut. I think not. I think the moment he settles the ball and he gets it in front of him, I didn't think he had the angle to shoot. So when he cuts back, I'm thinking now he's going to go at it. But he had the presence of mind and to pass it off to Talisca, who has just had an open goal mouth. And I remember we were here watching the game. I don't know if you remember. And I said that this is what Lima is good for. Yeah. He's good to play with that guy that's the killer. I'm not saying that Talisca is the killer, but Lima is good. Pull the guys towards him, settle the ball, attract attention, and then just lay it off to the guy who's going to kill it. I mean, he was good with Rodrigo. He was good with Cardozo. And that's Lima's role.
That's what Lima does. Lima is not going to be that prototypical number 9 with his back to the goal. He needs someone to play off. And right now he's got 2 fantastic players that play very similar and very close to what he does, and that's Jonas and Talisca somewhat. They're able to play off him. He's able to just play that simple 1-2, which is really good at the Tavelas. Whatever. I think it was a beautiful pass. I wouldn't have done that. I just have to be.
Yeah, and Steve, last week we spoke here about the battle in the right of midfield. Now that Gaitan is going to be out for a few weeks with that surgery on his forearm, John got the start. Then we saw Soleimani come in towards the end of the game.
Salvio.
I know. Sulim. What did I say?
I don't know.
Oh, Salvi. I said Salvi was hurt. Did I say Salvi was hurt?
is hurt.
Salvio is the one who's hurt.
Yeah,
Right. Who did I say was hurt? Gaitan?
Yes.
Yeah, I always get those two confused. I don't know why.
There's that beautiful face, Steve.
Yeah, but anyway, how did you think? I know that both you and I are appreciators of John's quality, but how did you think John did?
Well, I think the fact that he was named man of the match by Ebola when the press
Really?
yes, he was, and
John was named man of the match against Penafiel?
he was, and he was quite good. He was quite good. They mentioned him. They mentioned that he was at a different pace to everybody else, always in a higher.
Wow.
Yeah,
Here.
we were sitting here watching the game.
We were watching
very-
the game, and
we criticized him a couple of times
Yeah.
because, the guy, he's at a different pace, but a lot of times he puts his head down and like, más burro, sobe pa frente, and he keeps it going. And we thought he had a better second half than in the first half, but I didn't think he had a good first half by any stretch of the imagination, Steve.
yeah, and it was something
But
that
it's not Steve's fault. The ball picked him. It wasn't Steve. Just let's clarify that.
no, but look, both Steve and I, we know that the guy is talented. I appreciate that type of a player that just doesn't put his head down with the blinders on and just takes off.
Like Cristiano just said he does.
No, he doesn't. He knows when to stop, when to look up, when to slow down things. But
He
one thing that
normally plays the right option.
he does high percentage ball
Yes.
most of the time. But one thing that Cristiano was saying when we were here watching the game, together, and he said that he did everything well until the very final ball.
The guy seems to know what he's doing until he does. The one thing to me that Ola John lacks, and I've kind of picked that up a little. He lacks that finesse, that last ball, that last touch. He doesn't have it. He does everything at 1,000 miles an hour. If he was able to learn how to shift gears a little bit at times, I think he'd be a lot better. Yes, he has those spectacular games where the guy is absolutely lights out, but then he has a lot of hiccups. Because in my mind, and I think you agree, Alfredo, we're watching the game and I thought he was pretty poor. So now we're kind of shocked that Ebola selected this guy as a player to match, Steve.
Yeah, I was too. I could have sworn that they could have either given it to Lima, they could have given it to Gaitan, they could have given it to Jonas with the tit ball, with the tit goal. Jonas finally got a goal that wasn't in one of the cups. That's great. What's his tally for the championship? Anybody know?
What? 3. He's got 3 goals. He's got 10 goals. Jonas, right? 10 goals overall, 3 in the Campeonato.
Excellent. And Timo was watching us, and he's online on Twitter. He did confirm that Samaris wasn't suspended. He said maybe JJ is finally just saying forget it with Samaris.
Gotta love our viewers, man. These guys are always on top of their game, making sure.
Yeah,
that's why we do such a great job on this pod. We got all the stats because our tremendous viewers.
I don't think that he's forgetting. I just think that Samaris has been improving, and I think that JJ is happy with his improvement, and hence his comment this past weekend saying that Samaris is perhaps a better. Maybe that's something mental that he's saying to Samaris. I think that all those other guys are better at 8 than you, so you should just work hard at 6. Maybe that's what he's trying to do because JJ plays mental games.
Possibly. One thing I did notice in Sunday's game, Cristant's very slow, man. Maybe he's got a lot to learn when it comes down to positioning and being at the right place instead of relying on pace. But he looks very, very slow when recuperating the ball.
Well, Steve, that was another player. I thought he had a better second half than he did first. Yes, he looked lento at times, but the one thing with Cristante that he does well is when he has the ball at his feet. Yeah, he commits some turnovers. He's still young. Let's not forget he's 19 years old. But I love his long balls, and I'm not a long ball type of guy. But he knows how to place the ball, and that's the one thing, man. We have to remember this Benfica team. Yes, we do have a couple of veterans, but Talisca, 20 years old. Gaitan, I'm sorry, Gaitan's 26, whatever it is. Cristante is 19 years old. Yeah. So these guys, we're expecting these guys to be veterans, to be at the level that we've gotten accustomed to over the last couple of years with the Benfica teams. But let's give these guys a break. Majority of these guys are all learning a new position. Case with Talisca playing the 8, Cristante, Samaris. I'm sorry, Steve?
Talisca, according to JJ, 8
Plays
is his
10
natural position. No, 8 is his natural position. In
Yeah,
Brazil,
but Brazil, in
in
Brazil,
Brazil
we're
he
slow.
played the segundo volante, which is almost like the more ball playing in a double pivot here in Europe. But
Yeah, but Brazil's game is very slow. It's a slow
there's a lot
build
more.
up.
There's
There's
a
a
lot
lot
more
more
space.
room.
It's different.
It's very easy for a guy to pick up the ball in midfield and take control of the game in Brazil, man. We see those games all the time. They're so slow. Sometimes I think the grass is too high that the ball doesn't move fast enough.
Guys não põem as vacas a pastarem.
But yeah, it was it was in getting back to the Cristante point. I think that the guy is money on his long balls. Yeah, every ball is like radio controlled right to his destination. The guy is great, but I don't know if he's pacey, Steve. He's a big guy. Usually those big guys, they could, once they widen up their strides, they could get pretty fast, man.
Well,
I don't know, man. That's a small field too, so. But
we were sitting here watching the game, and we were criticizing the hell out of him. And believe it or not, this guy to my left will tell you, I grabbed my laptop and I was about to start tweeting how Benfica needs to move the ball around quicker because Penafiel is doing a great job of putting pressure on him. And right as I'm about to hit send, goal. I was like, oh, okay, never mind. I deleted that. But, that's exactly what happened. These teams learn how to pressure Benfica. You got a bunch of players, like I mentioned before, that are trying to get adjusted and equated to different positions. And it takes them a little bit of time. So, all in all, listen, I agree with Steve on this because Steve's been very critical of this throughout most of the season so far. Benfica's played like crap majority of the games. But you know what? 3 points is 3 points.
Yeah.
And with all these guys still very raw and with all the question marks and everything, I mean, we just lost a very key player, at least for this Benfica team, and Enzo Paris clown. But, it's going to take a while for this team to start gelling. And right now we just don't have the caliber of players that we've had in the past 2 to 3 seasons, guys. So, all in all, man, I'm pretty happy. A win's a win. My boy Jonas does nothing but score. This guy right here says all he scores in a Taça, but listen, they count just as much. So I think there's a lot to be positive about, man. It's just going to take a little bit of adjusting with these players. Samaris is forever going to play the 6 in Cristante until we get Feja back, and most of us didn't even like the guy because the guy had brick feet, but obviously he could defend. And Ruben Amorim, when he gets back, maybe that's a guy that gets another spot. Maybe when Eliseu comes back, and now you got to play Andre Almeida at some point. Maybe you plug him back there at center mid, defensive center mid. So,
yeah,
for a team that lacks other options at this position,
we have a lot of options.
We do when the other 2 guys come back healthy, 2 to 3 guys actually, I should say, because of Mourinho, Eliseu, and Fez, there's 3 guys, and that moves the whole team around.
Steve.
It's funny you were mentioning how we're winning and winning ugly. It's been in the press from a whole bunch of different angles. Luis Felipe Vieira, Jorge Jesus, everyone's asking about the non-automatic type of system. I mean, with the players that are available and them learning their ropes and some of them just not being of the quality that we've been accustomed to, I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a lot more ugly 1-0 wins and a team that's more accustomed to winning at whatever cost than playing nice football. I think even last year's team, with the team that we had, was at points criticized for being more pragmatic, for kind of trying to control games instead of going for the throat. So imagine this year's team with half as much talent, it's going to do the same thing, if not worse, right?
Yeah, I think that you got a couple artistas in this team. In years prior, you probably had a few more. I would say 2. I would say 3.
3.
Yeah, I would say 3. I think Gaitan definitely
for sure. Jonas, and Talisca.
Nah, Talisca não é artista.
O gajo é artista, meu. He scores. You know what? And say what you want about Talisca.
Não é artista.
Talisca's the type of play. Well, 4. Because I think Salvio as well. I think Talisca could do certain things.
Artistas, there's 2.
2.
There's 2. Gaitan and Jonas. That's it.
What about Salvio?
Salvio puts his head down and dribbles. No, artistas is 2, and that's it.
Artistas is 2.
That's it.
I guess I could go with that, but I would go with Salvio also because he can make a lot of things happen.
And Talisca
when he's
could
on
as well. Talisca will shock you.
man.
Give the guy some time, man. Listen, he's scoring goals, and sometimes once he tries, he doesn't get it off.
But
He dips the shoulder. And, you got the Ginga. You could tell he definitely got. I had Ginga. I know what Ginga looks like, guys, from the TV. All right, maybe not there, but from TV, I could definitely tell what it looks like. And the guy had it. The guy definitely had it.
But I think that one thing is scoring goals. The other thing is to have that ability, that technical ability, that know-how, that presence to be able to make a play that'll change the game. They say, "Whoa," and Talisca hasn't shown me that so far.
The guy is Rivaldo. How could he not have Ginga? Jorge Jesus said that's Rivaldo. You reminded him of Rivaldo when he first saw him play. Come on, the guy's got nothing but Ginga.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm glad that he scored. The other guy that I'm glad scored was Jardel.
Absolutely.
And then he was clawing up the nets like he was Spider-Man. I loved it. That's a great move. We gotta find a picture of that.
We saw Timo and Nelson jizz all over themselves all the way from here. I gotta tell you, I started to jizz real quick because I thought it was Lisandro. I thought it was Lisandro.
Premature?
Yeah, premature. Yeah. So I thought it was Lisandro. I got excited, and then I was like, oh, never mind. And then you actually said Cristante, and I was like, okay, I'm happy with that too. Then I was like, Jardel. Okay, Jardel.
I thought it was Cristante. It looked like Cristante because they wear the same boots, and the way when we were watching it did look like the one of those two. But I was happy for Jardel. I've seen him miss sitters on headers a lot of times. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. But anyway, then Steve, another talking about firsts. For this game, Jardel's goal, and I think the other one was Gedge. Everybody.
I can't believe people are actually counting that. If I was him, I would have told Jorge, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Obrigado.
No, man, no. You got to take that. You got to take that, and it's a game you'll forever. Dude, you ask the best players in the world about their debuts.
Come on,
and a lot of guys are going to tell you 2 minutes against the team on a rainy night that we were winning 6-0.
Against Penafiel. Didn't let him brag about it. The guy went in, and I told you sitting, you started cracking up. The only reason why you went in is because to give the roperos a reason to wash his shirt and his shorts, give him a little. That's the only reason why you went in, bro. I mean, come on. The guy went in. It's kind of like me at Giant Stadium back in 96, 90. I go in, game over. Like, are you serious? As a 17-year-old, I guess it's special. Don't get me wrong.
No, dude.
But I wouldn't count it. I mean, come on. The guy stepped down the field and the referee blew the whistle.
Yeah, I think Jorge
Jesus needs to do a better job.
No,
they were up 2-3-0. Give the kid 5, 6, 10 minutes. I mean, you literally give him 18 seconds. I think it was one every second for every year he's been on the face of this earth. That's what it was. That had to be. Steve, you agree?
Maybe he meant to give him more, but the ball never went out. I don't know. I don't have the same opinion.
And speaking of young, I do. And speaking of young players. We gotta mention. I don't know if he's so young, but Rui Font gets promoted to the 18th.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that next. But yeah, okay, we can go with that.
I thought you gave me the cue.
Yeah. So, but
Rui Font's not exactly young anymore.
One last thing on a Penafiel, and we've mentioned here that Benfica does play ugly. But one thing that they show, and Steve, I know that you agree with me, is Benfica has defensive organization, and the team is organized in a lot of processes that they haven't been in the past, where we've criticized JJ. Processes like an attacking transition, a defensive transition, and I think that the team is very well organized despite lacking some of the talent that we've had in past years. I don't know if you agree with that, Steve.
Absolutely. That's down to the work of JJ. I mean, the team is very, very defensively stable. Especially with when we had Enzo and a more natural 6, even Samaris, the defensive transitions were a lot better. But something that we were having a lot of troubles with last year, we basically don't have any with anymore, is set-piece defending. And that is always something down to the coach, and you have to give the guy credit for that. I mean, there is a vast improvement from year to year on how well we defend.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you remember, too, at the beginning of the season, a couple of years back. Remember when we were giving up all those goals?
Yeah.
Set-piece defending?
That was last year.
And since we're talking about defending, let's not forget our boy Julio Cesar, who's on a 535 minutes scoreless streak, whatever. He broke all blocks.
Yeah, somebody would say, and that person I shall not mention their name, but
how are they going to mention their name? Are they here, or
I guess
shall we not mention?
The thing is that I had a thing for Jonas, and she had a thing for Julio Cesar, so we kind of went back and forth, and so on and so forth.
You didn't like
Doesn't matter.
Jonas. That person didn't like JC. And the one thing, though, just want to throw it out there. I love both of them, so I'm looking good so far.
You're looking good. You're looking good. All right, let's move on. Move on. Benfica did a couple shuffles and their ranks, especially in the B team. And the biggest thing, obviously, was Rui Fonte, which we have already mentioned here. And I'll give you something real quick, some numbers. The B team has played a total of 21 games this season. Rui Fonte played in 18 games and he scored 14 goals. He's obviously, it was announced that he was promoted to the A team. As you know, Oliveira went to Swansea, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is that he's taken Oliveira's spot. And my other thing is that there was a lot of people saying, well, if Oliveira wasn't getting that much playing time, then why bring Fonte to play? Why bring Fonte to play? And to substitute Oliveira? And for me, go ahead, Steve.
It's because you're taking one more forward out of the rotation. You're bringing Talisca back into the number 8 spot. You're going to lose another second forward. So,
well, I don't think he's right. My biggest thing was perhaps that Fonte's characteristics are a lot like Oliveira's, a more static guy, more area, more box guy, and I thought that's why JJ brought him along.
Could be.
But guys, what do you make of these rumors? Benfica's trying to get Rodriguez from Peñarol, who's a striker. They're obviously going to add. I mean, I said it the other day. I think they're going to grab some of that 25 mil from Enzo, and they're going to invest in bringing 1 or 2 players. So to me, I think, and I was one of the people that said, why have this guy come in and replace Nelson Oliveira? It's not like Nelson Oliveira was playing. So technically, he's going to have a spot on the bench week in, week out, most likely, because not even Nelson Oliveira did. And he's going to play most of his games on the B team. I mean, let's be realistic, guys. All three of us, I think, would pretty much agree that, okay, he might be a fine player, but I don't think he's a better player than Nelson Oliveira. I mean, am I correct in assuming that, guys? Yes.
I think that maybe he's at a different level of maturity than Nelson Oliveira is.
But the point I'm trying to make is that if Nelson Oliveira wasn't getting playing time, I doubt he's going to get playing time.
No, I understand that. I just think that he's going to be there to serve that purpose as a static forward. Obviously, he looked from the amount of games that he's played for the B team, he looks like he's perhaps one of the only options that the B team has at forward. And I think that on the games that JJ's not going to plan on him, he's probably going to get burned on the B team.
One thing is this: Elder, former Benfica central defender, Portuguese national team central defender, and Christopher Cristóvão, I forget his last name, Elder.
Cristóvão.
Cristóvão. Okay, he's the coach of the Benfica B, and he came out yesterday and he said he's the best forward playing in Portugal. I mean, he's talking
best
about
Portuguese forward.
Portuguese forward.
That's what he said.
Okay, I read playing.
No, he's é o melhor avançado português a jogar em Portugal. That's what he said.
Okay.
How do you say that the guy is better than Jackson Martinez?
That's why I was bringing that up. Because that's what listen.
What are they doing over there? Coaching or drinking? What's going on over there? No, he definitely said that he's the best Portuguese forward playing in Portugal right now. I mean, because if you look up and down, Sporting no forwards, no Portuguese forwards. Porto no Portuguese forwards. You can make a case maybe. Guimarães André is not really a forward, right? He's a midfielder, so there you go. Hence the comparison. Eder, he's better than Eder. Is he better than Eder?
Rui Fonte é o melhor avançado a atuar em Portugal. To me, that means he's the best forward in Portugal, right? I mean, I'm just translating Portuguese into English. I think that's what it means.
O melhor português, se calhar.
Aqui não estou vendo nada em português, meu.
They misunderstood him. Maybe he was talking with that. Maybe he was talking with the Angola accent.
Para mim, é o melhor em Portugal. O nosso trabalho é fazer jogadores para a equipa. I mean, that means é o melhor em Portugal. I don't think he's saying he's the best Portuguese.
Well,
yeah,
I know what I read.
Ele trabalha com ele todos os dias. He works with him every day, so he must know something that we're not.
The guy's 24, playing on the Benfica B team. I like to know that myself as a 24-year-old and playing with ambition. I would want to be loaned out, play in another league, do what a lot of these guys did. That kid Orlando Sa, you went over to God knows where, or Poland or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't want to be at a Benfica B team if I had any aspirations of actually becoming a professional soccer player myself. I'm not saying that he's not, but, I mean, wouldn't you like to see a kid who's 24 years old putting all these goals in the back of the net with a little bit more ambition?
Yeah. Steve, Sergio_R81 says that Rui Fonte will replace Derlei in the pecking order. What do you think?
Repeat your question, man. It cut out.
That Rui Fonte will replace Derlei in the pecking order.
So basically saying he'll be the third striker, third option.
Yeah.
JJ would really have to like what he sees in training for that to happen, I think. That's what it's going to come down to.
But, bro, if that's the case, and Sergio, thanks for hitting us up, but if that's the case, why has this guy been on the beach for 2 years now, whatever it is? I mean,
he had a huge injury.
He had a huge injury, yeah. He was out for a bunch of months with a huge injury, like a season-ending injury.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Look, I don't have anything against the guy. I hope that he does well. I hope he gets more time than Oliveira was playing. I hope that the kid develops into being a great striker. He gets called to the national team. Hey, I hope for all of those things. Maybe the thing with JJ and Nelson Oliveira is an ego thing. Maybe it's something that, maybe has some resentment on part of JJ's against Oliveira. Who knows? But I noticed that there was an evolution in Oliveira this half season. He's now no longer a guy that gets the ball and he looks to goal first. That we saw, and Steve, that's perhaps one of the things that me and you probably criticize him the most for, is that the guy always head down. And look, a strike always has to have that instinct to know where the goal is and go for goal. But that guy was just too much.
To be honest, I didn't see much of a difference in him from that.
I don't know.
If anything, I liked his attitude a little bit better this year. Him and his dad took a lot longer to open their mouths before saying, oh, he's not playing enough, blah, blah, blah. They waited until December when there was actually probably a chance of him.
Yeah.
Going Freddie. Everyone wants him to be the best 9 Portugal has made in God knows how many years. But I've said it here numerous times. There's something missing in the brain. There's a switch there that Nelson needs to flick or something, because based on raw ability, there's no reason why he can't be. But based on footballing decisions and even just his attitude, for me, just doesn't line up.
Yeah, and Nelson Oliveira is the type of kid that's going down the street and he sees a can and right away he tries to put the can inside the door.
There's nothing wrong with that. As a striker, that's what I want. I mean, but that's what all the great strikers have, man. They have the one thing, which is the eye for goal. So
he has too much eye, dude. Almost
fine.
Like a blind eye.
Listen, we all loved him when he first came up, right? Then he had some type of little spiel going on with JJ, and they shipped him out, and he went to France, started scoring some goals at the beginning of the season, then something else happened, probably like Steve said, his attitude's not the greatest. Then they started sending him down a little bit, but the guy definitely has talent, and as a striker, that's what you want. You want a guy, I do. I want a guy that gets the ball and goes to goal and scores. Now, if he was scoring goals at will, right? If JJ was given the opportunity to play and he scored a goal, I don't think any of us would be up here criticizing the guy because we'd all be loving, oh, the guy has an eye for goal. So it's about performance.
Chris,
it's the end result.
Chris, but 30 yards from goal, the only thing that's on this kid's mind is, let me do a move and I'm going to shoot. It doesn't matter. So that's the problem. Inside the box, I completely agree with you. But when you're playing football outside the box and you're trying to build plays and be helpful to your team, dipping your shoulder and shooting from God knows where doesn't get you anywhere.
Steve, you know what your problem is, Steve? Steve, you know what your problem is?
Internet?
You're a Barcelona fan, man. You're used to that tiki-taka. You guys don't even shoot. You guys walk into the goal. Walk into the goal with the ball. That's what it is. That's why you don't appreciate Nelson's talent of hitting field goals. You know?
I can't remember Barcelona the last time they scored a goal outside the box.
Daniel Alves against Real Madrid. Killed it. Casillas is still looking for that one right now. Sure enough, Steve.
Anyway, a couple of the guys that are rumored to be leaving for Gil Vicente are Lindelof and Elder Costa. Lindelof has played at defensive midfield and also at center back. Lindelof, out of the 21 games, he's played 19 games. Elder Costa is right winger or left winger, Steve? I think right winger, right?
Left-footed, plays on the right, cutting in, or wide on the left.
Where's Pedri when we need him with all this Benfica information?
He could play. He could play both sides. And Eldar Costa has actually played in all 21 games and has 7 goals. So apparently those two guys are headed to Gil Vicente. Benfica has a really good relationship with Gil Vicente, and those guys seem to be headed.
And Guedes was supposed to go as well, but something happened over the last 24 hours. They excluded him from that. So, I mean, I tell you, I wouldn't mind seeing him go on loan. I actually told someone on Twitter just the other day he should go to like a Vitória Setúbal, Gil Vicente. Give the kid some playing time. Because
screw Setúbal, man. Benfica doesn't have good relations with Setúbal.
Bro, that's Terra do Carrapau, bro. That's where.
Nah, but screw those guys. Those guys in green, freak them all.
All right, but whatever. Send the kid somewhere where he's going to get some PT against men, rather than play on the with the kids.
Well, I mean, we still got about 21 days to go in the month. So who knows?
21 days.
You know, JJ has to look at the squad and see what's there and what he's going to need. But I don't know, man.
I agree with you. If JJ feels that at some point in the Taça da Cerveja he's going to give this kid some playing time, I'm all for it. Let the kid play. But just to keep him on the bench and have him played against teenagers, to me, that, it doesn't help his development. I think Benfica should loan him out to, like you said, a Gil Vicente or another club that Benfica has good relationships with, and let this kid develop and play against men just to see if he could handle the pressure of playing against men
I agree
day
with
in,
you.
day out. Because obviously they have high hopes for this guy. There's plenty of other international teams that are interested in him. So give the kid a chance to play. At least give him some taste, not 17 seconds against Penafiel.
No, I agree with you. I definitely, and I think Steve agrees.
It's not that I disagree. JJ has praised him a couple times now. JJ won't let him go.
Yeah.
All the players that he loans out, he never really talks much about them. Bernardo Silva, Bernardo queria
Yeah.
okay, off he goes. João Cancelo, he's never really had much good to say about him. Ivan Cavaleiro, he played a bit, but he never praised him too much. This Gonçalo Guedes, it's always, he's 17 years old, but he's 2 or 3 years ahead of schedule. He's physical, blah, blah, blah. JJ's not letting him go.
But
that's
Steve,
what I come down to.
How is Guedes benefiting from that, though?
I completely agree with you.
He's not. I
agree with you. I'm just saying JJ's outlook on this is JJ likes him. He wants to coach him himself. He doesn't want to let him go to somewhere else where he doesn't have a close eye on him.
Yeah, the other thing also is right now it doesn't look like anyone's going to leave, but if anyone leaves, this guy done. So I think that's probably one of the spots what Guedes would probably fit in.
I don't think he leaves. Yeah, I think Aitan and Luizão.
No, he doesn't, but there's a possibility. Who knows, man? Maybe some Russian millionaire wakes up one day, stumbles onto his giraffe.
The golden giraffes. Nah, bro. Listen. I think Benfica, they made money on Enzo because he is turning 29 soon. They made 25.
I don't want to talk about that douchebag anymore.
But I'm just saying that's why they sold him, and he had his.
Well, let's not talk about that guy anymore.
So now I don't think they will do the same.
But he said Benfica minha casa.
Oh man, today he comes out with that. Get the fuck out of here.
I still think Benfica has ambitions of winning the Campeonato this year, and you letting go of Gaetan. I mean, you kind of like waving the white flag and saying, well, Portolucci have to do.
Don't do us any favors. Today he gives out an interview praising Benfica, and even Aimar came out and said that he learned a lot with JJ and he owes a lot to JJ. No shit, he owes a lot to JJ. But he was an ungrateful bastard. He left the way he did. He could have saved things a little better. He could have said, JJ, substitute me in the 46th minute or in the 47th minute. Everybody in that stadium, everybody watching that game would have known exactly what that meant. Okay? Don't ask to be substituted halfway through the first half like an asshole. Okay? Just do the right thing, man. Be a classy guy. Then he goes to Valencia and says, this is the best reception I could have received. 8,000 people waiting for me.
Come on, bro. Are you serious?
What happened at
practice? Nos treinos, pá. Treinos dos putos. Benfica needs more people than that. Come on, bro.
Dude, I don't know, man. That guy, whatever, man. Best of luck to him. I hope he does well.
No, listen. I hope he does well because Benfica will make another $5 million off of him. And then when they do, I hope he stinks up the place.
Anyway, and another guy that's also moving, Ruben Pinto, and he's a guy that's been around in the B team since its inception. It's actually a guy that came out of Benfica's youth ranks. He's actually the captain of the B team. 20 games played, 6 goals. He's a guy that plays in the midfield at 6 or at 8. He joins Paços de Ferreira, which is also a decent move.
It's a good move for him. It's a good move for him. Hopefully, this is the last of the Seixal Golden Boys. This is a guy who's been there since day one, and he's another one that's never really played in the first team. He's out the window like Miguel Rosa was, of the same generation. That being said, is Ruben Pinto good enough to play for the first team? Probably not.
No.
But at Paços Ferreira, he's going to be. I think he's going to be a good addition. He's going to do well.
He's going to be another Simão.
David Simão, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant.
He's
No,
in
not
operation.
Sobral.
Simão, Nelson Oliveira.
Yeah. I don't know if I would put him in the same category. Nelson Oliveira, he's in like a different category.
Here's the question,
else.
though. All these young players are leaving, okay? They're all going to get a chance at other clubs. But the question that everyone watching right now, or will be listening later on, that everyone wants an answer to is, where's Steven Vitória going to go?
I'm telling you, he's going to Marítimo, man. My inside sources.
Your inside sources.
My inside sources tell me that Steven Vitória is going to Marítimo.
Let's see.
He's going to Marítimo.
If not, I bet he's at Toronto FC next year.
It could be. I think if he's really desperate, then he ends up at Toronto FC.
I mean, is Toronto FC going to pay him as much as he's making at Benfica? That's the only reason why he hasn't left. I mean, what other reason hasn't the guy left?
Yeah.
I mean, surely Steve can't wait to see this guy take free kicks. Because Steve has the top 10, the video, the top 10 Steven Vitória's free kick goal.
Well,
Steve doesn't even talk.
I just wanted to put out a quick question by Sergio_R81 about Gedge. Should we, if we do understand, or if we do come to the decision that we got to loan Gedge out, do we send him away from Portugal so we don't have the same issues with Belenenses? Or for me, I think we keep him home and you keep a close eye on him.
Yeah.
It's also a level that the guy could play probably week in, week out because of his maturity. I think the move would be keep him in Portugal.
You don't want to add another element to his development. You send him out to a different country, away from home, away from his family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well said, Steven. I think the thing with Gedge is if you're going to loan this kid out, make sure I don't care if it's Russia, Ethiopia, Guatemala, wherever you send this kid, make sure that he's gonna go there to play. Because to sit on a bench, you stay with JJ, and JJ will help you out and teach you things at practice. He definitely needs to go somewhere and play.
Now,
and I think Steve brings up a great point.
I
You don't
agree.
want to add another element
Exactly.
with the language, the living conditions, and the whole adaptation to another country. So, and plus, at the end of the day, we want the kid to come back and play for us, so we want him to be accustomed to Portuguese style of football as much as possible.
Yeah, this is a guy that we need to watch closely. I think that going away from Portugal, and Timo agrees with us, is probably the wrong move. And whether Benfica creates agreements with Gil Vicente and Paços Ferreira with these guys that now they can't play, you know what? I don't give a shit if it's done through the SADs or whatever. If they don't play, I don't care. I don't care if they don't play, you know. The thing is that these clubs, they can't afford to buy players. These kids are good quality players. As far as I know, we're doing them a favor, and we're picking up these kids' salaries while they go over there and they showcase their talents for these teams. Whether they play against Benfica, I really don't care. So, who knows? And now, just to finish off on this in and out, I think I can't even say his name. Mukhtar, the German kid, playmaker, plays for Hertha Berlin. Played for Hertha Berlin 10 games last season, but this season was relegated to the B team because he has rejected contract renewals. He was in Lisboa this past weekend, apparently doing physicals, has already rejoined Hertha. Came into Lisbon, never said anything, was photographed, was seen. Also leaving Lisbon, I think he was photographed and seen. Never said anything to the media. Benfica has not mentioned anything to the CMVM. The CMVM hasn't come out and asked for any questions in regards to this kid. He is free to sign with Benfica after this past January, so he could have signed the contract. But if he has some kind of a verbal agreement with Benfica, he's not going anywhere. He's probably just going to finish the season in Hertha and just join us in June.
I hope this doesn't turn out to another, what's his name, Purisic, whatever his name is, another one of those cases where you make so much thing about signing the guy and then you never play him. So if you're going to bring him, it's to play him, because if it's just to bring him on the team and take the roster spot of a kid that's playing on the B team or that's coming up with the juniors, to me makes no sense. So hopefully it's a kid that has quality and will add to the team. If not, don't even sign him.
Yeah, I agree. And what was the other guy that Chris, I swear, he jizzed in his pants when he saw these piece of news in the baller?
Mattia Perin, the Italian goalkeeper, 22 years old, plays for Genoa. The guy's outstanding goalkeeper, and he is just what we need. I mean, and they're talking about bringing him in next summer. JC is, 35, whatever it is now, 36.
Got a couple more years.
He does, but when you get a kid that good at 22 years old that could be with your club, hopefully for the next 6 to 10 years, you have to do what you have to do and get this kid, because he is absolutely a fabulous goalkeeper, man. And I hope they do go out and get him. He's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't watch that much of the Serie A, so I don't know the kid, but I'll take your word for it. Anyway, moving on to Guimarães. Huge game this weekend, Saturday, 5 o'clock local at Estádio da Luz. Benfica will host Guimarães. Guimarães is currently in third place, 9 wins, 4 ties, 2 losses. Their away record is 4 wins, 1 tie, and 2 losses. They have the third best defense of the league along with Braga. They're tied actually for third, and they have the third best attack of the league. And Steve, Rui Vitória, coach of Guimarães, we all know that he's been doing a good job in the past couple of years. Is a guy that we actually hope that if JJ ever leaves, we hope that he's available to come and coach our club. Very, very tough game for Benfica.
Definitely. If there's one thing that Rui Vitória is good at, he's good at making it tough for the big three.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going to force his style upon them. So he's more counteractive than he is proactive, but it's going to be a difficult game, no doubt about it. They have a few players that have been getting a lot of hype in the media, I think, because of their position in the league. Let's see what happens. I'm predicting we're going to get the win, especially at the Luz.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Chris, what do you make of this game, dude?
I'm happy that we're facing them right now at home rather than on the road, because it's going to be a very tough game. They're very well coached. They have a bunch of players that are, like Steven mentioned, getting plenty of praise throughout Portugal, and neither some other European teams have been scouting Guimarães of late. So I think it'll be a very tough game, very defensive game, but I think Benfica will find a way to squeeze out the win come Saturday.
Yeah, very possible. Nonetheless, I mean, it's going to be the first true test for Benfica this early in the year, and I got to look at what's coming up next. I think we got some cup games, League Cup games coming up, but this is definitely a test. And now with some teams, it looks like Sporting is picking up some speed. Looks like that controversy between Bruno Carvalho and the coach Mark Silva is behind them. Porto also seems to be picking up a little bit of speed. It's important right now that we keep that 6-point gap. So we got Guimarães at home, then we got Aroca at home for the League Cup. Then we travel to Madeira to play Steven Vitória and Maritim. And we also go to Moreira de Cónegos on the 22nd or 21st of this month to play the last League Cup game from the group stages, and then we got Passos Ferreira also at the Capital do Móvel. So that's going to be it's a very tough spell. A lot of games this month, and JJ needs to rotate, and very crucial games that we need to win, games that we need to play ugly but score goals. If we can't play pretty, score goals, and play ugly, it doesn't matter. But huge game, I think, at Guimarães. I think the Braga game was huge. Porto and Sporting always huge, and this is your fourth biggest game of the first round, Chris.
No, I agree, and you don't want to start off the year, not the year, but you don't want to have your first huge matchup of the year and drop it at home because obviously the confidence would absolutely fly out the window. So very interested to see what happens. Who JJ picks for the midfield? Is somebody's going to be ready? And if he is ready to play, will he stick with Cristante? Will he, maybe play Cristante and somebody's in the midfield and then drop either Jonas or Talisca because obviously you want a little bit more control of the midfield. So very interested to see what happens this weekend. But nonetheless, man, it's going to be very exciting and be sitting back and watching, bro, and hoping that we keep that 6-point gap because that is going to be absolutely crucial going forward that we keep that gap because, like Steve has mentioned plenty of times, we've been playing like crap. So, one of these days it's going to come back and haunt us. So we want to keep that gap as long as possible.
Yeah, Steve, I'm curious to see how Vitória sets up against us.
I think the most interesting part that might be, or the most interesting position of the field to see who gets a chance is left back or right back. Maxi is going to be suspended, so are we going to see Benito at the left, or is Silvio finally fit enough to maybe start a match? We don't know. So,
what's up with Eliseu? When is he coming back?
Maxi can't play.
Yeah, he's yellow.
I don't know. Maybe Eliseu was still digesting the turkey he ate at Christmas. Who knows?
Turkey. He's from He lives in Portugal.
Oh,
bacalhau e rabanadas the next day.
You want tapas? He was eating the bacalhau and somebody was drinking. What's that? What's the Greek aguardiente? Whatever it's called.
Ouzo.
Yeah, you're right, Steve. Great point. Maxi is out.
Yes, Steve.
Yellow card suspension. Almeida's obviously going to be on. I'm curious. I think Almeida will be on the right. Benito will be on the left. I don't know if Silvio is ready yet.
That's my guess too.
And the other thing is, man, what's up with Luizão? Will he be healthy for this weekend? Because that's also crucial going up against a very tough opponent.
Yeah.
JJ mentioned in a press conference last week that he thinks both Eliseu and Luizão might be able to be part of the game roster against against Guimarães, but they probably won't be good enough to start just yet.
Yeah, I don't think you run a rush Luizão in because
if they're not healthy, I don't even want them on the bench. If they're not healthy to play from the start, I don't even want them on the bench.
You shouldn't rush Luizão in. First of all, he's an older guy. Getting back from injuries, it's a lot harder. It takes a lot more time because your body's not the way it used to be anymore. So you don't really want bring in the guy prematurely and then have the guy go down, and then you can't use him for the rest of the season.
That's what happens to you all guys. Your body.
To the old guys.
To you all guys.
It's like a night of drinking. Before I could do Saturday, Sunday, Friday. Now I could do Friday, and then I'm recuperating Saturday and Sunday.
How cold until Monday.
That's what happens when you get old. Anyway, I think that's about all we got. What do you think, Steve?
I think that's about it.
That's about it? All right.
One thing, actually. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off.
Buddy.
Fernando Santos says he doesn't really count on André Almeida as he doesn't hold a lot of value
for a player that's like a multi-use player.
For me, is a supremely important player for us. Supremely.
Yeah. Yeah, he was on Jogo Jogado. If you guys follow that, it's a podcast in Portuguese. He was on Jogo Jogado this week, and one of the hosts had asked him why André Almeida hadn't been called, and he said that one of the reasons was because, and it was detrimental to him, was the fact that he could play a lot of positions.
That he wasn't routined in any, which little
right.
It doesn't work for me.
So why do you ever? I mean, how does Ruben Amorim ever get a call up?
Well, he doesn't. That's why
he's hurt,
Veloso didn't get a call up. That's why Meireles didn't get a call up. But he's saying that the one true thing that hurts Almeida is the fact that he can play a lot of positions.
That should be a plus.
Maybe he's a guy that, when you have a limited roster, for me at least, in my mind, if you have a limited roster, a guy that can play multiple positions, that's a bonus.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could bring in another forward, another Eder, maybe another winger, Quaresma, and you have a guy that could play defensive midfield, right back, left back, center back. left forward, left bench,
Right mid,
left outs.
left mid.
Exactly.
Listen, I don't know. I mean, as long as he keeps his form up for Benfica, man, I'll worry about the national team later. Right now, it's about Benfica. And Fernando Santos, to me, he's got bigger questions than Andre Almeida. You know, he keeps calling up these old guys and whatever. Hopefully, it'll work for now to get us to France. But I think those are going to be major questions to have answered come France. Because those guys, I mean, as we all know, they're all getting older by the day. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. It's that time again. Looks like this went by fast. I wonder how long it was. It was less than an hour, I think. At Steve Santos 6, no zeros in there, no 00, just Steve Santos 6 at 10CO10 at Benfica Podcast. Is where you can find us on Twitter. Chris is up at all times of the night, so hit him up. Don't be scared, and he will engage with you. No matter what the topic will be, he loves baseball,
football,
basketball,
whatever.
Long walks on the beach,
Hockey,
sunsets,
anything but Benfica modalidades, and we're good. All right, Peggy does a great job. He sends me a guy on a motorbike and talks about Benfica. He came in second. I'm like, I can't sell that bike,
Dakar, man. Sell Dakar, guys.
Sell that bike and get a brand new pair of cleats for Jardel or something, man. I mean, what do we need all that crap for? Come on.
Anyway, don't forget to check out our friends over at planetbenfica.co.uk. They're remodeling their site, looking good. What else? Fubo, fubo.tv/Benfica podcast. This weekend you can watch Benfica's game on Fubo.tv.
Right, it's a home game.
If you have an Android set-top box, you can watch it on there. What else? Amazon Fire, you can watch that on there. On your laptop, you can also watch it on there. iPhone, iPad, Android tablet. If you're out of the United States, you can watch it on your computer using a browser plugin that's totally legal. That's called HOLA. That circumvents the geo blocking. So check that out. Sign up over at fubo.tv/Benfica podcast so we at least get some credit or whatever. Thank you very much for checking us out. Next week we will be back. Also, I was forgetting. Don't forget to check out our friend here, Gustavo. Cristiano and his co-host Eric Krakauer on their weekly podcast about international soccer, the BSH.
And maybe we should get our beautiful followers and listeners to chip in, and so we could get our good friend here, Steve, some shaving cream because he kind of missed a couple spots.
Not only shaving cream, but we got to work on his internet.
Oh
man.
Yeah, for sure. All you tech geeks at home right now.
Anybody who works for an ISP in Canada that can give Steve a hand, and I'm not talking about a clapping hand. I'm talking about a hand. Go over his house or something. Maybe one of the cables is stepped on or something. He's got something going on. We don't know what.
Maybe he spends all his bandwidth on some of those exclusive sites. You know, the exclusive ones.
I don't know.
Maybe.
It's all about the exclusivity.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe they just throttle the internet for hipsters up in Canada. I don't know.
He spends all his time on that Jorge Jesus file that he has with all the players. You know, the hardware,
the server.
Yeah, the server that JJ has. Maybe Steve, has been wasting his internet on that. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but definitely, if you know anything about internet, man, hit this guy up because
at Steve Santos 6.
I cut him off today because I thought he was done, and then I'm talking, he comes back, and so then I'm like, damn. So Steve, I apologize for stepping on your toes.
Sorry for the horrible internet, guys.
Yeah, and last week was Cristiano and I's turn, and actually our mics weren't on, and we apologize for quality of the audio. I'm sure you enjoyed this quality a lot better. So that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for checking us out. Don't forget to subscribe via iTunes. It's free, RSS feed, or Stitcher Radio. BenficaPodcast.com is where you can find all the podcasts. What else?
Maybe next week we'll have a whole new look for everybody. A little surprise.
Yeah.
Stay on your toes. We'll definitely come to you with something.
We're working
different.
on
Yeah,
we're
we
working
definitely
on some visual candy, and I'm not talking about
Steve topless.
girls in bikinis wearing nothing but bikinis behind us.
We
or
might,
something.
maybe. You never know.
Yeah,
You never know.
That'd be a good idea.
Ladies, if you're listening, send in the pictures. You might just make an appearance on the show. You never know. Guys, send them to Steve. All right, Steve Santos 6. Send your pictures to them. Everybody else, Fredo and I.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Arrivederci.
Bye.